Continuing on with the mechanical project, just wanted to make a quick recording of the detailing. And so we have our front view or our top view of the part from our mechanical project using metric units. And we created the model in our previous video, and now we're just detailing it. Because as we work with the AutoCAD system, it's not a parametric system. It's not going to generate these. It can, but we're not at this point. And so we've created the front view, and then I just projected up the lines for the other views, and I'm basically in the drafting and annotation workspace, and then I'm just creating things like these center lines here, and so I can use the annotate center line creator and use some of the automated features within. And it's not quite working right. We're going to have to stretch that a little bit. Good drafting technique. I used to teach people how to draft with pencils at NIU. Would have a short dash in the center of it, and it's a component of our LT scale. And I've got it at 25.4, but I'm going to dial that down to 12. That's better. It's a little tight, but it's not bad. It's good enough. And then we can just mirror these objects using a blue window rather than draw them again. Missed one. And then we'll project up the other details. On the object line layer. And so I think we'll just have to offset this 30. Match property is a little quicker than it is to go and click on things. And that should have just acquired it. It didn't work right. Match properties, source, enter. Sorry, match properties, source, property to match. It's not doing it. There, it's working now. And it works really well for things like dimension styles and other things like that too. So that's a good go-to editing command. And that's going to be a height of 34. So just a lot of offsetting and trimming and detailing. And that's the nature of the job. It's a thinking person's job. And there's a number of ways to detail these drawings, but essentially what we want this drawing to do is to be a manufacturable part. And everything is good as long as everything works, right? What happens is if there is a problem with the part fitting into the assembly or whatever, when you have manufactured it, they go back to the drawing blueprints and they look at the blueprints. And that's where you want to be extra careful to make sure that things that are on the drawing are correct. And so as I just finished some of the detailing work here, I'm just going to add in this information here. They didn't draw these. This is really kind of showing this as a section view, but they didn't show it with section lines. And so if I was creating this project for a company, I would create the section lines here. And I may do that. Let's take a look and see where we're at with it here. And so this hole right here is 7. So we can offset that 3.5. But a lot of this is detailing, and so detailing and drafting, that's what we like to do. That pays the bills. Just takes time. We don't have to demonstrate how to detail and draft every line on the drawing. But I'm going to get a few more in here, and then I'll end the video so that people have an understanding of what it's supposed to look like. And that's not trimming quite right. Since I'm using hidden lines, I guess I will not make that into a section view. And as you work with things like drafting and making them look like pencil drawings, the smaller the hole, the shorter the center lines, and they're supposed to extend. These are a little bit out there, but they don't want to be just like hanging way, way out there in space. And typically with the way the CAD system works is if you make them even, so if I say 10, just as a nice round number to offset this to, and then I trim this in between it. This is just old school AutoCAD stuff. Then the center lines and the center marks are symmetrical. And we like symmetrical relationships in our design world. All right, so that's what this would actually be the top view. And then if we want to put in our dimensions, we can put in our dimensions. And as I said, the dimension style, if I go DDIM, you can also go into the annotation tab. I still like to type in the commands and go to our dimension style, and we can modify the precision on this, because the more decimal places of accuracy, the higher the precision, the more the parts cost and the harder they are to make. And so we're going to just leave that, and then we will be able to put in our linear dimensions, and we shouldn't have any change or over toleranced, overly precise, like the hammer people are buying from NASA for $1,000. All kinds of stories of overly precise parts. We want to build them for manufacturing, and we want to build them at an economical cost. So complete the top and the other side view, and I'll post this recording, and that will be all we'll need to do for chapter 2.